This is Peter, and I've always wanted to do a haul video, but never felt I had the time. So it's my birthday, and the thing I wanted to do most was just talk about some fun and cool comics I got. I hope you're ready for this, Gotham. Check it out. I got this mostly because it had this other cover. Look at the different approaches that they took to the subject of depicting something visually. I wonder if inside it has some good stories about him. Oh, and Matt Chi. Galaxy Brigade number 3 cannot come out soon enough, man. Get to inking those pages. For real. I really want to see what happens next to Soraya. Really, really great stuff from Matt Chi here. We worked on a comic about The Silent, Suspense Stories number 4. But I just really want to see him make more of his own, honestly. Yeah. Come on, Matt Chi, number 3. Let's see it. I've also been collecting Greg Pak. I haven't been able to find this. It's a EA Arts video game licensed Marvel comic. It also has these great Jay Lee covers that June colored. Just the first couple before they made someone else do it. It's kind of quirky, but it's actually a great Daredevil story. Because as much as the heroes are in this story more powerful, Daredevil can smell when an addiction to a kind of superhuman growth serum happens. So Daredevil actually plays a really great role in this Greg Pak written series. No trade paperback of it. I always think about how cool it is, though. And I've literally never seen it traded in the store in our entire history. Look at that cool Jay Lee Spider-Man pose. And it was when Wolverine didn't need a costume, but not when John Byrne was doing that. Anyways, yeah, I also followed Greg Pak through World War Hulk. I think I kind of fell off after when it was Incredible Hercules. More because of life. But, yeah, remember when Aurora and Chala became the Four? When Sue and Reed had to take a break and work on their relationship? Not fight aliens, but repair each other. Dwayne McDuffie wrote this really cool short run. After JMS's really cool short run. So I'm super stoked to get into it because I just finished Wade's Civil War run. But I don't want to get onto that. No, Filth number 7, Zero Democracy. It seemed like a good random issue to pick up. I genuinely enjoy that. It was meant to be actually a Nick Fury Shield Max pitch that Marvel didn't let Morrison go ahead with. But yeah, that later developed into the Filth. Random issues of that. This Warhammer lore, the Redeemer, I cannot get enough of. This was the first one I found, 22 actually. And shout out to Alien Worlds. Like half of this haul comes from their dollar bin. Great place to check out. Yeah, Redeemer is such a crazy cool comic. It reminds me of Kev O'Neill, but it's not. It's Debbie Gallagher. Wayne Reynolds inks it, too. I'm not sure of any of their work. Don't know if it's British or not, but Pat Mills, the writer, is. And it's like this crazy dude who's like, you need to be redeemed. But you don't. And he's a villain who makes people think they need redemption. And he's also the main character. Warhammer comics, I found, are interesting focuses on villainy and kind of like monstrous aspects. Or more forces of nature. But anyways, more of that Greg Pak goodness. I way fell off of reading Marvel by the time Atlantis was attacking the second time. As a title. Of course, they attacked first in Fantastic Four Annual 1. We know how cool that was. Oh, here. Another unreprinted Marvel comic. No good reason here, though, other than the fact that it's really weird. Paul Jenkins writes it, and it's about Steve Rogers in World War II writing kind of comics and interacting with the young all-heroes squad that Bucky led. Gosh, they used a lot of ads. I think this is the kind of comic I was like, I'm just going to wait for the trade because there's no ads. That's a big reason I stopped reading Marvel periodicals, which made me respect the universe a lot less, actually, when I was reading his graphic novels, because they're so, like, of the moment. And it's about, like, the lightning quick speed that the decompressed stories move along that make them interesting. But Captain America, or Steve Rogers, was a cartoon artist in Europe who wrote stories that were kind of coded information for other platoons to hear about when they were published. So it's a really, really interesting story. It's an 8-issue mini. I think it, yeah, I think it got shortened, so there's no 8 or something. I don't remember. Dylan Horrocks from Hicksville did a Batgirl two-parter before he took on the Cassandra Cain character. I am just blown away that there was a short Dylan Horrocks Batgirl story. I really like his Hickville and how it focuses on a Kirby-like person, you know. The best hero in comics. Look, there are not enough Batman covers where like people are going, ugh. It's interesting because Justin Gray writes it. No Jimmy Palmiotti. I wonder if this is before their writing collaborations or during. I will probably look that up while I'm reading them and not tell you. Amazing Spider-Man 700.3. The thing my collection needed. Jen Van Meter and Emma Rios on a short here, as well as Joe Casey. And you got a cool Humberto Ramos cover to make you think they're all the same, in the same way Mark Bagley did earlier. Oh, and Delano. I mean, no faults to whoever draws these, really. I love the way the figure of Spider-Man plays in front of the logo, making it seem like it's a part of the urban background. Like, there's something almost Eisnerian about that title placement. It kind of looks like it's a building advertising it, but then Spider-Man is just popping out, you know, making the sound effects and not actually using his web fluid because he doesn't have that much money to make more. Anyways, Joe Casey writes that one too, and he wrote this one. I don't know if that's Lee Weeks doing the art with Sean Chen, but Kevin Grevius. I hope I say his name right, an actor-writer. Totally worth getting more comics by him. And I totally lucked out. Tomasi's sole issue of Steel writing to introduce Priest and Cowan's long run with Tom Palmer of Uncanny X-Men John Byrne fame. These are seriously beautiful comics too. They have Dave Johnson covers too. Just seriously underrated, classically good comics that kind of just look so chrome and dated. But man, they just sing when you have like a new copy and the gloss hits the light for the first time in 12 years. When you unbag that copy of Steel 47 that went from $2.10 to $1 in the course of 15 years. There's just some beautiful magic spell about that. And Tom Palmer and Dennis Cowan, really, I hope they made more comics. I hope this isn't the only comic they made. I have no clue if it is or isn't, though, because, like, who has heard of Dennis Cowan and Tom Palmer comic teams? But hey, we got at least 4 in a row here. It's kind of a dramatic reveal because I can't remember how long he inked them. Wow. Dave Johnson. After Super Patriot, 97. That really looks like a Dennis Cowan figure in the background, kind of. With the face work. It's just incredible developing work by Dave Johnson before he became like the 100 Bullets cover designer. Still got Tom Palmer inking at 39. Who do we got there? Rollins. Oh, but Vince Giorano is also penciling, so it's a break for the team. Yeah. They're not all the same, but they all start with similar poses. Because you know what? Comics are about people thinking about things. And the way that heroes think about things are flying through the air with their fists first. Because they can see the sky in front of them. And I think that's the real reason we all love superheroes. They get to feel the sky in front of them. And it's before the story starts, you know? They're just already feeling the sky. Until you happen to read about them. More Tom Palmer, Dennis Cowan pages. Life is so good when you find a cool penciler inker combo that you didn't realize had kind of a sustained working relationship, and you can really see like them develop into each other's styles. Like, look how Tom Palmer inks that. That's totally influenced by how we saw Dennis Cowan's penciling, the feathering being all like jagged, intentional, thin moments. It's incredible to see Tom Palmer learning from Dennis Cowan. Dennis and Bill Sienkiewicz worked on a lot of stuff in the 80s too, and I think that they had a really positive effect on each other as artists. Wow, it looks so good. Well, hey, I'll enjoy reading that off camera almost as much as you enjoyed just looking at random ones. Let's see how much Palmer inked. Wow, up to 44. I even forgot when I was looking at these who inked every one of these comics. Oh, but then we got Buscema. Is it Sal? Huh. Buscema isn't credited there. Huh. No, he is. It's just weird 90s lettering. Daddy-o. That was the lettering font that I always knew was hard to read. Wow. Ooh, Battle of the Inkers right there. You gotta get your Hawkman on. Palmiotti and Justin Gray there. They had a good long run on this title too. I've enjoyed a couple random issues thereof, and I'm really excited to check out. Have a fun little Hawkman dive. Tim Truman's Hawk World is something I got into a year ago. And then I found out the Loeb and Lieber run, and I've been absolutely in love with these comics. I would have hated when I was a kid seeing them early because they would just seem so emblematic of the times and the zeitgeist, but now they're like this rare, unique pocket that capture this brief cultural flavor. And it's so cool to see these old Hawkmans as an adult. You know, again, with the light of gloss hitting their page after 15 years of being in the same bags of boards. Not seen really by the person that bought them first. I'm just kidding. People who own Hawkman comics typically do love them. But yeah, let's get back to the start of them. I just had to shout out how cool Hawkman was. JLA. Really been going past the Morrison parts. And really loving all of it. Got some Doug Mackey art going on there. And Jeff Johns, for a brief time, doing Marvel stuff with the Avengers. He also did this thing, Freak Show, that's always just called Icons. It's annoying. But I finally got all 4 issues. It may have taken me 5 years. And I may have bought a double or 2 on the way. But I finally have all 4 issues after getting 2 of them. Same with the Ultra Girl. Carl Kessel doing Malibu. Like pre-Fantastic Four, Susan Storm getting powers type story. I have 2 and 3. But yeah. Eduardo Riso has been an artist I just have not been able to get enough of after that first long Halloween. And this is funny. As a retailer, I have nostalgia for getting the advanced reader's copy. And I just thought it was cool that I could see that for sale. Shout out to Clover Press for having a really rad eBay store. I got a couple of these items there. Yeah, this is a Paul Dini autobiographical novel about recovering from trauma using the comic book storytelling method as his savior. He really spends the time like showing the reader how he's telling the story, and then movie montage, it just goes into panels that are kind of different than what he says is going to happen. It's a good thing Paul Dini didn't draw this because Eduardo Riso knocks it out of the park. It's a real beautiful book. Dark Knight, a true Batman story. I should have some in stock in the store, but I don't think I do right now. Probably going to reorder 1 or 2. Oh, and then I finally plunked down the coin with some birthday money that I could get the last 3 long Halloweens for all 13 of my collection. My brother actually collected all these, and I read his growing up, and I always envied him. And now, finally, on 36 years on this mother-loving earth, I have all of them too, bro. Just look at the perspective that puddle gives to the whole scene. Man, Tim Sale. Way too good. Yeah. Oh, shout out to mycomicshop.com, too. You just see the price tag and you know it, right, guys? They had those 2 issues of the Pulse. I love that it ended when the pregnant woman became a hero. And Bendis was kind of like, nah, that's the finale then. If she has to become an Avenger with Luke. Because I think he wanted the story to be about the child they raised. It kind of got overshadowed. I wonder about their kid. Someone will probably know. Me, after I make this video and won't tell you about it. Shout out to Clover Press, too. Last issue of Joe Casey's Haunt. Nathan Fox cover, looking pretty Gendy Tartakovsky in some ways. Because Nathan Fox typically has very thick black outlines on his objects. I love the reach of the artist on this cover. And Kari Andrews, I've just enjoyed almost every cover of his I've seen. And Renato Jones was such a comedic thing that I realized I should have read this a while ago. So I'm finally picking it up. I think I'm only missing number 1 now. And then, oh, we are not done. Look at the GN bag. What am I taking home? Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you. The experience of reading this is one thing. When you're making a comic, it's like the opposite of a fantasy writer because you're serializing it first. So there are a lot of elements that as a retailer, I saw people dislike. They thought it took too long between the chapters, that not too much happened. They didn't understand what random things were going on in books because there's kind of things that like are supposed to be nonsense fantasy details you don't care about. And it's hard to discern that when you have like one issue and then 4 months between it. And there's an artist shift too. James Herron draws 2 issues in the middle. I think that was when I initially stopped reading it. But I just feel like the themes of it changed throughout because it took so long to make. And a fantasy writer could revise the draft of their novel. But there are specifically like 3 typos in here that I remember a lot of people complaining about. And I mean, you know, it's a handwritten piece of writing the main character is serving right before he leaves this earth. So, I mean, give the man a break. You might have a typo or 2. That's not the thing that bugs me in some ways. I think that the title, honestly, draws attention to something that that is kind of sad when you think about it and bring the book up. And I wish kind of that, I don't know, it felt like an anti-Princess Bride to me. So I want it to be like the prince's wife because it really is about his relation to his ideals. And one of them is his fidelity to his wife. And the other is, you know, his disloyalty to the Mud King. But yeah, ever since Chip Zdarsky announced the Whisper Queen, and I was like, the Whisper King is the character of this. I've been wondering about its relation to him, and they seem vaguely like they might be in the same world, but might not be. It's a really moving read, though. I literally just could not stop thumbing through its pages last night, and I didn't actually want to leave the world of the fantasy novel by reading another story. And typically, I kind of like to hop around issue to issue, so it really, really left a super strong impression on me. And I have to say, as a single volume experience reading, you know, it's like a moving film. Not a lot does happen in some chapters, and I can see how some of the resolution moments might be annoying if you've been waiting 4 years for the buildup of the last black page with one dialogue balloon on it. I get it, but just picking it up now as a reader that doesn't have that baggage, it seems like a beautiful thing. And I just wish that comics got the chance to kind of edit themselves and present a director's edition of the material instead of kind of just collecting the 17 issues. You know, I feel like, you know, they should have fixed some typos. They should have put in some framing sequences or images or, you know, just make it different slightly with some cool little things. I don't know. You don't have to make the single cut the album cut. Yeah, and I took home some comics too that had been a little long on the rack. I'd been just a little interested in. Mostly for review. Roberto Aguirre Sacasa, I hope I pronounced his name right, but no, I didn't. Did a random Avengers Origin comic. I love his Fantastic Four run. Really do. And then Tom Payer doing this random Atlas comic I've never seen before except in this one dude's collection. ... Tom Payer. Always writing interesting stories. I am fully in to Jeff Johns' DC stuff too. And then Kevin Grevius, I don't think I got his name pronounced right, but he wrote this issue of Cyborg as well as one of the Spider-Man short stories. And I have to leave on this one because this is so beautiful. Look at this, guys. It's Green Lantern 150. It's been price stickered 3 times. And the most beautiful thing about it, look at its board. Not only is it a comic I owned and hand wrote the creators on before owning Gotham Newsstand, and maintained that board for, gosh, I don't even think 2,000 comics have this tricolor hand cut stamp that Midge cut for us. We put it in 2 sides of ink, red and blue, and it became purple in the middle. And it survived. It was in the store in 2024. So if there's one thing I had to take home, it was something beautiful like that. And just look at the cover, too. It's like 2 panels. It's not a single image. Part of me wonders if it was like a misused kind of page for an inside that he's like, yeah, this can be a cover if the deadline's tomorrow. Type thing. But yeah, super excited to check it out. Well, anyways, check Gotham Newsstand on the other side. And while the invisible credits roll in your head, just know that you really are appreciated. Walking into a comic store and being a person. It's a weird feeling. I know. LCS Beatitudes by Peter, 2024. Shout outs to Steven.